Last-minute efforts saved the U.S. government from shutdown. After weeks of budget deadlock, the U.S. government narrowly avoided a shutdown with a last-minute decision by House Speaker McCarthy. On the night of September 29, U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy realized that to prevent a government shutdown, he might have to rely on Democratic lawmakers. This was a move he had been trying to avoid for months under pressure from the far-right faction within the Republican Party, which held a fragile majority in the House of Representatives. 8 minutes before, crossing into September 30, with only about 24 hours left to find a way to pass a short-term budget agreement and prevent a U.S. government shutdown, McCarthy quietly introduced a new bill. During a morning meeting of the Republican Party in the House of Representatives on September 30, he surprisingly announced his support for a bipartisan budget bill that could be passed in the Senate, controlled by Democrats, to keep the government open until November 17, according to sources close to McCarthy. However, he proposed cutting funding for Ukraine in this bill to allocate the budget for disaster relief in the United States. As he did not receive enough support from all 221 Republican members in the House, he gambled that Democratic lawmakers, who hold 212 seats in the House, would save this bill. McCarthy's decision was seen as a challenge to hardliners within the Republican Party who had staunchly opposed the bill. Some, like Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz, even threatened to vote to oust McCarthy if he passed the bill with Democratic support. Even some initial Democratic Party members were skeptical of McCarthy's last-minute bill. They had not had time to thoroughly review the 71-page bill before the vote and believed that the Republican House Speaker was trying to trick them. The Democratic Party did not trust that McCarthy had drafted a clean bill and worried that it included provisions they did not want. Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic Party leader in the House, took advantage of a rule allowing party leaders to speak freely to help the Democratic Party have an additional 52 minutes to review the bill. We only asked for 90 minutes to thoroughly review the bill. The fact that the Republican Party did not adhere to the 72-hour rule for lawmakers to review bills before voting is illogical, complained Democratic Congressman Ted Lieu. Some Democratic members from the New York delegation, a powerful and dissatisfied group with McCarthy's approach, realized that they were in a difficult position. Their state had just been hit by a disaster, and voting against the bill would mean opposing provisions for disaster relief. As Democratic members sought to extend the time for a thorough review of the bill, the fire alarm rang, leading to the evacuation of a House office building. Democratic Congressman Jamaal Bowman from New York admitted to accidentally triggering the fire alarm, which drew criticism and an investigation. Meanwhile, senators were discussing their own budget bill. Republican members in the Senate rejected the call by Minority Leader Mitch McConnell to preserve the Ukraine aid package in the bill, according to sources familiar with the matter. Faced with the Republican senators' determination, McConnell had to withdraw the provision for Ukraine aid from the Senate bill to quickly support McCarthy's effort. This was when Democratic members in the House realized they should not insist on including Ukraine aid in the bill. I heard that the Senate would not be able to pass any bill containing Ukraine support, so we really have no leverage at this point, said Democratic Congressman Adam Smith, a member of the House Armed Services Committee, while Jeffries was buying time with his speech. McCarthy's gamble paid off, with 209 Democratic members and 126 Republican members supporting the bill. The Democratic Party's support made the opposition of 21 hardline Republican lawmakers meaningless. The decision initiated the swift approval process for a temporary budget bill in the Senate, allowing the U.S. government to remain open until November 17. If someone wants to propose my removal, go ahead, McCarthy said. After the House passed the bill, this arena needs mature individuals. After the bill is passed, Gaetz believed McCarthy's position as House Speaker was quite fragile. However, Republican Congressman Mike Lawler, a Gaetz ally, predicted that efforts to oust McCarthy would fail. I think McCarthy has done an extraordinary job as House Speaker. He has consistently been underrated, but today you can see he firmly holds the leadership role. So anyone who wants to oppose, they can oppose, but they will not succeed, Lawler said. The impressive breakthrough in the House sparked optimism about the bill's quick passage in the Senate. However, on Capitol Hill, things rarely go smoothly. This time, the obstacle was Democratic Senator Michael Bennet from Colorado, who expressed disappointment that there was no provision for Ukraine aid in the bill. He announced he would vote against it after receiving a joint bipartisan statement from McConnell and Schumer, along with key senators, reaffirming a commitment to passing the Ukraine aid package in the coming weeks. Republican Senator John Thune said there were numerous bipartisan exchanges with McCarthy, as well as among Republican Party members, before passing the bill. Everyone tried to find different ways to ensure the government wouldn't shut down. The House has done its job. We've also had many hours of discussion, Thune said. In the end, the bill was also passed in the Senate with a vote of 88 in favor and 9 against. After trying to turn the government into a hostage, the Make America Great Again MAGA faction of the Republican Party did not achieve anything, said Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer after the vote. President Joe Biden praised this move, stating that the Republican Party had committed to providing aid to Ukraine through another vote. However, the more challenging task is reaching a full-year budget agreement. Observers believe that the parties are likely to return to the same deadlock in over a month, as the temporary budget bill does not address larger disputes between the Republican Party in the House and the Senate. Thune hopes this will not happen, because everyone's best interest is not to face the deadlock we've been through, where they don't have to race against deadlines and the government shutdown risk. He said,